The grass court season is upon us, and with Wimbledon wrapping up for another year this past weekend, one of the game's legends has been speaking about his future. Novak Djokovic got the job done in SW19, but it was Roger Federer's news that will have had fans excitedly hoping to see his return next summer. Today we are discussing Wimbledon recently standing still after Roger Federer dropped some big news about his future. Stay tuned. So what went down? Let's see. Well, Federer missed out on this season's Wimbledon championship thanks to a knee injury suffered at last year's tournament, but he did make an appearance on center court last week in a special ceremony to mark the 100th anniversary of the fabled court. During his appearance, he was asked about his future plans, to which he revealed he would like to play at the world's most famous tennis tournament one more time. He also spoke of how he had missed playing at the event due to his injury, which he sustained at the quarterfinal stage last year. The 40-year-old has been out for a year, but has his sights set on the Laver Cup this September in London to make his comeback in preparation for his home tournament in Basel later this autumn. He said, "I knew walking out of here last year it was going to be a tough year ahead," before going on to say, "I maybe didn't think it was going to take this long to come back. The knee has been rough on me," after he received a rapturous round of applause coming onto center court. Federer was in attendance as one of many former champs who had been invited to the Middle Sunday event, and having first tasted success here back in 2003, Federer spoke of how lucky he had been, then saying, "It feels awkward to be here today in a different type of role, but great to be here with all the other champions." What else did he have to say then? Stay tuned to find out. After admitting that center court at SW19 had given him his biggest wins and my biggest losses, Roger was joined yet again by his career's biggest rivals, Novak and Rafa. And one of the losses Federer was referring to when he referred to center court giving him his biggest losses was the 2019 final against Djokovic, which was also the longest Wimbledon final in history. After Djokovic's appearance, the Serb himself spoke of how he was actually more nervous taking part in the ceremony than when he competes on the court. He said, "This court has been truly special for my childhood, and the first image of tennis I've seen when I was 4 or 5 years old. I saw Pete Sampras winning his first Wimbledon." He went on to say that the venue is where dreams come true, and revealed that the highlight of his career was winning the event back in 2011. And it wasn't just the three big rivals from the past decade or two. Also in attendance were past greats such as Billie Jean King, Venus Williams, John McEnroe, Bjorn Borg, and Goran Ivanisevic, among many more. Unfortunately, though, Martina Navratilova, who had also been set to appear at the ceremony, had to pull out due to a positive COVID-19 test. Bummer. Who do you guys think is the best champion in the history of Wimbledon? We're going for Serena. Let us know your choice below. Contrasting rumors that he may be about to retire now. Stick around. Having recently said he would love to have one more crack at Wimbledon, Federer has set panic amongst fans after this week revealing he has quite enjoyed his time away. A loyal family man, the Swiss icon, did admit to missing the ins and outs of daily life on the tour, but also said, "I can honestly say that I am very happy at home. At times, we miss traveling, and of course, I also miss the sport, but life at home is also good." The tennis itinerary was sometimes excessive, especially with having to organize that for the children too, before going on to claim that as nice as it was to have a break from tennis, the family do miss the traveling, which some fans interpreted as a potential retirement statement. Federer dropped out of the ATP Top 1000 this week for the first time in a quarter of a century, which won't have come as a shock having not played in a year, but the man himself went on to suggest that he was okay with it. He finished by saying, "Tennis is part of, but not my entire identity. I want to be and remain successful, but that can also be done outside of sports," before saying that he is well aware professional careers don't last forever, and that's okay. What has been the standout moment from the great man's career for you? Let us know below. His greatest rival has had his say on him now. There was a point in time about a decade ago when the Roger Federer-Rafael Nadal rivalry was probably the biggest sporting rivalry in the world outside of Messi and Ronaldo, and that intense rivalry came with an absolute ton of respect attached to it, which Rafa showed in abundance at this year's Wimbledon tournament. When you grow up with someone always there, always in your crosshairs, it is probably quite strange to then suddenly not have them there, motivating you to do better. And Rafa delivered a heartfelt tribute to his old rival during a Wimbledon press conference recently, saying, "My greatest rival, all the things that we have shared together on this court, is difficult to describe the emotions." The Spaniard, male tennis's all-time most successful at the moment, then told reporters that he actually misses Federer and humbly suggested that tennis also misses the great Swiss, before saying he's a well-missed player in every single moment of tennis, without a doubt. Beautiful words from Nadal, which is great to see. Who is your men's tennis GOAT? Let us know below. Next up, the great man has sent a heartwarming tribute to another tennis great. Stay with us. Following last weekend's weekend's Wimbledon finals, Sue Barker revealed she would be retiring from broadcasting. The tennis great, who began covering Wimbledon almost 30 years ago in 1993, was shown a surprise video after the men's final on Sunday with messages from tennis greats of past and present. Martina Navratilova, Rafael Nadal, and Andy Murray were amongst those to record messages, but it was 8-time champion Federer who made fans well up. Thanking Barker for her years of service, Roger said, "Thank you for everything you've done for the game of tennis. Interviews on courts, you made me cry. I wish you all the very best for the future. And again, thank you for those incredible 30 years and everything you've done." And Barker returned the favor, breaking down after watching the video, with Tim Hinman on hand for support. Former women's champ Billie Jean King then referred to Barker as the GOAT of broadcasting, which was a lovely touch. She has been gradually winding down her broadcasting duties, having last year retired from presenting the hit sports quiz show, A Question of Sports, which she has hosted since 1997. Barker won one major, the French Open in 1976, during her playing career, before reaching the Wimbledon semifinals a year later. She also got to the semifinals of the Australian Open on 2 occasions during a career spanning 11 years. What did you make of Barker's playing and broadcasting career? Let us know below. And finally, news of last weekend's men's final. Due to Rafael Nadal pulling out of his semifinal due to injury, Nick Kyrgios was gifted a place in last weekend's Wimbledon final against Novak Djokovic, just coming up short. The prickly Aussie, who rubs a lot of people the wrong way, was branded a monumental a-hole by Piers Morgan, who knows a thing or two about being one of those himself, after his antics on center court. And a lot of people will have been glad the final was won by Djokovic, who actually knows how to conduct himself on court. Djokovic proved too much for the Aussie, reasserting his recent dominance at SW19 after coming from a set down to take the trophy, winning 3-1, 6-4, 7-6. The result saw Djokovic take his 7th Wimbledon title, and also saw him close the gap with Rafael Nadal in majors 1-21. He got off to a pretty slow start, but fought back to the relief of millions. And after the match, Kyrgios actually appeared to come across as humble. Surprisingly, he said, "He's a bit of a god. I'm not going to lie. I thought I played well. However, he let his incredibly short fuse get the better of him and began to melt down after an impressive start to the match." Djokovic remained calm and played his own game, which Kyrgios would do well to emulate in the future. What did you guys make of the final? As usual, thanks for stopping by today. And remember to join us again next time, when we will have more great bits and pieces up for discussion. And why not do us a solid by liking and sharing today's video, while also subscribing to our channel so you don't miss out on any more great content in the future. Bye guys!